I spent so long being hungry, so hungry to work on myself, and getting so frustrated because I didn't know what to do, what to start with. And my mind, the first thing that I went towards was just I need to be working. So for my first business, e-commerce business, I was shipping out orders, putting listings on eBay, stuff like that. So that's what I'd fill my time up with. Listing, shipping, listing, shipping, listing, shipping. But I got into this hamster wheel of just giving myself work because I didn't know what to do. So I just give myself tasks that I'm not learning anything from. I'm not really making any progress from. Like, yeah, they need doing, but I had no plan to get off of them. And the problem with that is you're giving all of your time, but you're not making any progress. And that's like the worst deal you could possibly have. You might as well just go get a job at McDonald's at that point. And I was stuck in this hamster wheel trap of work, 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 which is cool if you're working on high leverage tasks. But those tasks where you're just giving yourself work because you feel like you have to be working all the time, it's a long road to nowhere. And that's where you end up being a busy idiot because you're literally swapping your time and wasting your time on tasks that are not important or you can easily outsource. And I spent years doing that. I really spent years doing that. And what I'm going to show you here is where I made a change. So what I realised was, I think Jim Rohn, I learnt this from. He's a big boy philosopher in the US. I'm not sure if he's around anymore, but you need to look into Jim Rohn. It will help you massively when it comes to business and life advice. And a big thing for him was write down your 5 most important tasks and just do those. What are the highest leverage tasks that you can do? Those need to be a priority each and every day. Those need to be the things that you focus on. And then if you decide to do the other stuff, you can. But by focusing on the highest leverage tasks, that's where you're able to actually start leveling up. Because those tasks are what drives the needle, moves the needle. That is what's actually going to make a change in whatever you're doing. That's your personal life or business. So you just being in this hustle mode, hustle bro period of I want to work, I want to work, I want to work, and just giving yourself pointless tasks, you're never going to get out or level up from that. And it took me so long to learn that. It took me so long to learn that. And another thing, when it comes to working on stuff, a massive thing that I saw helped me in my life when I started focusing on self-development properly. And in particular, I started focusing on my insecurities. When you can accept your insecurities, that births an opportunity for you actually to start progressing from them. And you can use the fuel from being insecure at something and feeling really how hard it gets and how hard your life can be and how much of a trap it can be. And when you start turning it from something that's getting you down and knocking you down, you can then actually turn it into one of your biggest attributes and strengths. Like for me, I used to have bad social skills. This is like Theo 4.0 that you're seeing here. The first version of me, I wasn't really shy, but I'd get embarrassed easily. And what I used to do was, I used to have this front up. So anytime someone got close to an insecurity, I'd have a front. And I'd just get louder and louder and louder to try and mask it. But when you're doing that and you're trying to hide an insecurity, you end up saying things that you shouldn't have said. But when I actually had some time to sit on my own when I was building my first business, even though it was a shit period, I had a lot of time for reflection. And I had a lot of time to think about where my insecurities come from and actually work on them. And then once I started working on them and I started learning social skills, yeah, I made myself, in VO 2.0, I made myself super socially awkward. And I felt like I couldn't even say hello, how are you to somebody. And then when I did start focusing on my social skills and I started being able to talk to loads of people, it was like being freed by something. And I went from being totally socially awkward to having quite good social skills. And that's my point with this. When you're trying to work hard and you want to work on something, it's not just all about business, it's not just all about shipping orders, it's not just all about learning an industry, but it's actually working on yourself. That's where you're going to see the most gains. Like, how can you expect to have a successful business if you can't even talk to people? If you can't even build a relationship with people? If you're losing your mind all the time because you're angry and you don't understand why? You have to be able to develop yourself. You have to be focused on self-development. And the thing is with self-development, you're not going to get too developed. So if you run out of work tasks to do, well, prioritise working on yourself. Prioritise your self-development over everything. And that's where you're going to see the most substantial gains. And another thing is, work on your headspace. I never, ever, ever used to work on my headspace because I just thought that brute force, work 24/7 is the answer. But the problem is when you're working 24/7 and there's no end goal in mind and you're just giving yourself pointless tasks that never end because you never decide to end your day and you're trying to work till 10 p.m. like an idiot, well, you've got no headspace. So you do less productive work because your priorities are not in order. So what you end up doing is getting yourself into something that never ends. And you actually work at 30%, but just all the time. Rather than prioritising correctly, working on yourself, and actually getting most of the important tasks done in way less time. And headspace also comes in actually taking some time out for yourself. I never used to take days off because I would just tell myself, if you take a day off, you don't want it. And yeah, look, sometimes it's needed, sometimes you've got to go all in, but that is not a forever thing. If you try to do that forever, you will mess with your mind. You will do more damage than good you're doing on whatever task you're doing. But when you focus on headspace and you can actually step back, breathe, and you're actually developing, and you have time to think, and you're able to think, you can actually look at things from a different point of view. But when you're always stuck in it and just trying to grind all the time, it's not the answer, man. It's not the answer. If I could speak to myself a few years ago, wow, I would have a lot of things to say. But headspace is incredibly important. Sometimes headspace looks like not doing any work at all. Going and spending a day doing something else, completely turn off from work, going on holiday. Going on holiday is great for headspace. Now all the hardcore entrepreneurs will be saying no holidays, no holidays, no holidays, but I'm not saying go to Ibiza and spend $5,000 and party. I'm saying you can go take a trip somewhere and just have a switch off, enjoy a different environment and actually get some headspace back. And when you come back, you'll be making better decisions. So yeah, there are a few things I learned. Subscribe to the channel. Until next time.